Hello aspirants, this is me Aspen Gill presenting to you the PIB highlights of 27th of January. So thank you so much for keeping patience with the delay. So let's begin with 27th highlights. So firstly we have under economic section, so there are quite less number of news items and we won't be covering a large number of articles etc. from Indian Express, which that will be covering in the usual timings, that is from 30th onwards, and other than that only PIB will be covered in this particular 3-4 days. So beginning we have tapping Northeast's potential. So see, Northeast has two untapped potential. This is something which you can use in your answers pertaining to how can you check the less of development or the development deficit that has occurred in Northeast. So one untapped potential is the youth potential. Second is the huge natural resources. So why youth? Because majority of the youth in Northeast, they move on to cities which are mainly the metro cities for jobs, and therefore in the Northeast itself we have a huge youth potential which is still unutilized. Other than that, we have a huge natural resources. So government, particularly the Department of Northeast Region, donor, it is actually trying to intermingle both of these things. And how is it trying to do so? For example, by using organic farming. So there's a lot of potential for organic farming, and by coming up with new jobs related to the sector, for example in bamboo trade etc., new jobs will be created and thereby youth will stay back in Northeast and they can work there. Simultaneously, there are other measures, for example sports university, because some states, for example Manipur, then we have Tripura from where we had Deepak Karmakar. So these particular people, they are very well known for their sports and stand as youth icons. So thereby government is also trying to come up with sports university, plus they even have for studies Brahmaputra study center. So this is how government is trying to build or trying to bridge the deficit of development which has occurred in Northeast region. Next we have certain small snippets. For example, we have Rashtriya Krishi Mela. Rashtriya Krishi Mela will take place this very year in Raipur in Chhattisgarh. Next we have Nirbhaya Fund. So firstly we'll understand who would set up it and for what particular reason was it set up. So this particular fund was set up in 2013 by Ministry of Finance, and this was for safety for women. Also that was evident from the name itself, so it was for safety of women. Plus unique thing about this fund is that it is a non-lapsable fund. So for example, some money lied non-used or unused in a particular financial year, so it doesn't stand lapsed, rather it continues to the next financial year. It can be used in the next financial year as well. So this is the whole idea of it, and as per the guidelines which have been issued by Ministry of Finance, there is a nodal ministry for managing this particular fund, and which is that nodal ministry? It is Ministry of Women and Child Development. So which schemes will get money from Nirbhaya Fund? It is all decided by Ministry of Women and Child Development. But this decision is not taken alone, rather it is taken by an empowered committee of officers, and this empowered committee is an interministerial committee. So it is not just restricted to Ministry of Women and Child Development. Other than that, MWCD, that is Ministry of Women and Child Development, also monitors the progress of the sanctioned schemes. So right now we have 3 sanctioned schemes under it that are from the Ministry of Women and Child Development. First one is the One Stop Center. Second one is the Women Helpline. Third is the Mahila Police Volunteer. Other than that, we have certain other programs as well. So let's understand one by one each of them. So see, one-stop centers are mainly to provide relief to rape victims etc. And they are also known as Sakhi centers. Sakhi here means friend, so they are also known as Sakhi centers. Then for Women Helpline, we have a number that is 181 for Women Helpline. This has been developed by Department of Telecommunication. Simultaneously, we have a Central Victim Compensation Scheme. This particular scheme has been developed as per a section of CRPC, that is Criminal Procedure Code. Then we have a scheme of Ministry of Railways, that is Integrated Emergency Response Management System. So this particular project of railways is to provide safety to women passengers. Then we have 2 state related schemes. One is Abhaya project. This is for Andhra Pradesh, again for providing safety for women, particularly during transport, mainly in auto rickshaws. And lastly, we have a scheme from Rajasthan by the name of Chirali, also known as Friends Forever. This is also to create a safe and enabling environment for girls and women. So this is how the whole fund is managed, and this is how the schemes work under it. Next, we have General Anti-Avoidance Rules, which is famously known as GAAR. So see, this is mainly, as evident from the name itself, to check upon the anti-avoidance which had occurred, particularly mainly after the Vodafone case, but we have been deferring GAAR from time to time. So firstly, we have to understand under which act do we have these provisions. We have the provision of GAAR under Income Tax Act 1961. And when are they going to be implemented? Though they have been deferred, but the current deadline is that they shall be effective from assessment year 2018-19, that is the financial year 2017-18. That is, just do the financial year, that is, they shall be effective from 2017-18 onwards. Also, the guidelines for the same have been issued by CBDT, that is Central Board for Direct Taxation, because this will fall under direct taxation, to check upon the tax avoidance, whereby the companies, they usually go to build their centers in the shell companies in various tax havens and thereby do the tax avoidance. So this is mainly to check tax avoidance. And see, just like few days back we did a concept known as place of effective management, right, poem. So similar to that concept, whereby various safeguards were provided so that genuine person doesn't suffer on it. Similarly, in GAAR also we have various safeguards. So you need not remember all these safeguards. These are just for information's sake. So for example, the first one, if the main purpose is not to obtain tax benefit, then obviously GAAR will not apply. It only applies to companies or places whereby the main purpose is to obtain tax benefit by situating their companies in tax havens, for example, Cayman Islands, etc. Then we have this particular rules, that is GAAR. It will not interfere with the right of taxpayer to choose his own method of implementing any sort of transaction. So the taxpayer is well in his right to choose any method of doing the transaction. Then grandfathering provision, whereby, see, what is grandfathering provision? This is a provision whereby the old rules, they at times continue to apply to some particular things. So these are the given things, just do not remember them, this is just for information. Next safeguards include that if there is a proper limitation of benefits clause, then also there is not sufficient ground available to invoke GAAR. Now what is this limitation of benefits clause? So this is one clause which we have entered with various countries. For example, we have entered this clause with Mauritius, etc. So under this provision, we can check upon whether a company is genuinely located in some other tax haven or not. How so? We'll check, okay, whether this company employs these many set of people, also whether it generates this much amount of income, and if it does, yes, it's a genuine company, so we won't disturb it. But if it doesn't, then obviously they have to pay the tax, because they are mainly situated in that particular country to save upon tax or to do tax avoidance. Similarly, if the court has explicitly considered the tax implications, then because the court has already considered them, so GAAR will not apply. These are the various safeguards which have been provided in this particular general anti-avoidance rule. Also, if the arrangement has been held permissible in 1 year by some approving panel, then also GAAR will not be invoked, because it has been already held permissible by an approving panel. Also, as we have steps of, say, checking upon who applies GAAR, etc. So firstly, we have Principal Commissioner of Income Tax, and at second stage the same will be reviewed by the approving panel. So once it is approved by approving panel that okay, there's no such need of putting the GAAR provision, then they won't be put. And if they found that okay, this company is particularly situated for tax benefits, then yes, they will be invoked, but also obviously after various amount of safeguards as given. Next we have Aadhar, that is Unique Identification Authority of India. So it has achieved 111 crore mark. So this is not something which will come in UPSC as such, right? But maybe in state civil service examinations at times they might ask you such questions. So another thing important about Aadhar is that it's the world's largest biometric based identification program. Plus, recently in a report by United Nations, that is the UN report on world social situation, which came out in 2016, it has been recognized as a big potential to foster inclusion among various people. So this is how it has achieved international recognition. Also, there's a new system coming up, that is Aadhar Pay. So this is important. So what is Aadhar Pay? Aadhar Pay is one situation whereby you can do transactions only using a thumb impression. So you need not have any phone, you need not have any debit card, only your thumb impression would work, and you need not use any card, pen, password or mobile, etc. So this is how Aadhar Pay is going to work. And as far as the coverage of Aadhar goes on, so as per Census 2011 data, the Aadhar saturation percentage is 91%, close to 91%, whereas if we consider the adult population, 99% of adult population is already have been assigned Aadhar numbers. Next we have Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. So quick short snippets. So this particular scheme, it comes under Ministry of Rural Development. This is one thing. Also do remember that road building, government is trying to very much do this process in a very eco-friendly way. So there are various sort of materials which are being used in road development. For example, we have waste plastic, we have slag from iron, we have copper waste, then we have fly ash, then we have geotextiles and cold mix. Cold mix is mainly bitumen extracts which have been used to make up the road building, to actually build the road. So these are the non-conventional materials which have been used. Next we have National Entrepreneurship Awards. So these awards have been instituted by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship with the help of certain institutes of higher learning as given. You don't remember all the names, just do remember that okay, this is instituted by this particular ministry in collaboration with certain institutes of higher learning. Under environment section, we have Central Water Commission. So it has signed an MOU with two very popular institutes. One is IIT Madras, second one is IISc Bangalore. So this particular, that is CWC, Central Water Commission. Firstly, it comes under Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. And this particular MOU is primarily to promote dam safety. So it is through a World Bank assisted program known as Dam Rehabilitation and Improvement Project. This is again important. So under security related, we have a very popular exercise, Tropics 2017. So Tropics 2017, the full name of this particular exercise is Theatre Readiness Operational Exercise. So this is by Indian Navy. It's a month-long exercise and it is carried by using assets of both Western as well as Eastern Naval Commands. Simultaneously, we have participation from Air Force, Army as well as Indian Coast Guard. So overall 4 forces participate in it. One is Indian Navy, then is Air Force, then is Army, and lastly we have Indian Coast Guard. Also this very year, that is Tropics 17, would be conducted off the Western Seaboard. So this is all about Tropics 17. So friends, that's it for today. If you find the initiative useful, do not forget to rate and review the same. Thank you so much.